Hello everyone, my name is Incoherence, and welcome to a brand new series. That's right, you guys may remember that we recently did a vote to determine what new series would come to the channel, and this was the winner. The plan is, essentially, if this does well, if it is received well, if there is enough feedback, it will become a permanent feature on the channel, and will join the quote-unquote schedule. It will join the schedule. This really won the vote by a landslide. It was amazing. Anyway, I would like to speak about that at a later date, perhaps in another video, that is the votes, the schedule, and the state of the channel in general. We'll talk about that another time. We will very quickly go over what we're going to do in this video. Basically, we are going to go over the information present on this screen. We will watch the intro video, and then we will do a detailed and thorough overview of the faction. And I mean detailed, I mean thorough. We're going to get into every single settlement, every single army, and every single general. So those of you who are not familiar with how I do this, I like to do it. I like to go over every single detail so that we're all on the same page. You may find this boring, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I am 100% fine with that. You may find multiple parts of this video boring, and I have actually prepared for this. I have put timestamps down below. I have put annotations, hopefully, on the screen if I'm feeling industrious. This is a note to future Inco. Please put annotations in, otherwise this is embarrassing. Basically, if you guys want to skip parts of this video, I'm fine with that, and I've planned for it. Because this is not for everyone, alright? If you want to see actual gameplay, then you may have to wait till the tail end of this video. You may have to wait until the next video. This is just a forewarning to you guys out there who like to get into the action of things rather than the nitty-gritty details. Why did I say nitty-gritty? I'm not sure. Anyway, where to begin? I suppose we ought to begin with the Kingdom of Rohan. This is who we will be playing as for the duration of this campaign. It is led by King Theoden, our main man, King Theoden, and his heir, Prince Éomer. Now, Prince Éomer, I believe, is actually the nephew of the king, because, as we all know, King Theoden's son died. It's a very sad scene. We'll just move on, because I'd rather not dwell on the depression, the depressing factors of fathers burying their sons. Okay, so our capital is Edoras, which is a wonderful city located on the plains of Rohan. I'm sure there's more accurate terms to describe the region. Let's just move on. I'd rather not get bogged down in that right now. So there is a bit of background information here as to the starting location, as to the neighbors, early expansion, the military, and weaknesses. And then, of course, we have a quote from Theoden himself, our wonderful king. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden. I'm not going to read any of this out loud. No, I'm not going to read it live. I've read it beforehand. This is basically my protocol. Whenever I come across something like this, I read it beforehand, and then you guys can read it at your own leisure. You can pause it, the video that is. You can pause the video, read it, unpause, and we can carry on our merry ways. This basically is a favor to not only you guys, but also to myself. I do not want to embarrass myself by reading this, and it also saves time. This would become a 45-minute video just of reading shit if I was to do that. So, as I said, I've read this. I urge you to do the same. Now, as for campaign rules, we are playing a long campaign, although I doubt we are actually going to accomplish these objectives because I'm not the fastest player, let's just say that. I get sidetracked all the goddamn time. All the time. And I also play the battles, most of the battles manually. So, yeah, just be prepared to stick around for that boring shit. Alright. Regardless, our objectives are to hold 30 regions, including Kingsland, Eastern Gorgoroth, Northern Dunland, Nan Kiranir. I have no idea where the vast majority of those provinces are. But I do know that we have to eliminate the Shadow of Mordor, the Dominion of Isengard, which is this little black plague pustule here, and then of course we have to defeat the Dunlendings, which are this, would you say it's tan? Is this a tan color? It's almost like a bronze flesh tone. We have to defeat them as well. We are going to be playing on very hard, as this is The difficulty the Third Age mod is balanced on, and I can only assume Divide and Conquer is the same way. And I would just like to point out very quickly the discount Pirates of the Caribbean theme we're listening to currently. You can't quite pick it up yet, but there will be a part where you will say, oh yes, I can see what you're saying, and it is coming up soon. Anyway, let's go over the strengths and weaknesses. We have a large roster, which is a strength in and of itself. That means flexibility, more units to pick from, more choice, more flexibility. Here it is. This is not the part, my mistake. We have excellent cavalry. Rohan is, first and foremost, a cavalry faction. Here it is. It's very Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's just... Moving on. I don't want to bag on the royalty-free music makers because they do a wonderful service for all of us. I have to say I enjoy your B-grade Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's just not dwell on me insulting these poor creative people. Yes, Rohan is very much a cavalry faction, which means that we have poor infantry as a result and poor archers as well. We don't have very many ranged options. Our armies are also, I suppose, hampered by the fact that we are capped at level 3 smithing, basically just to reflect that we are not as industrious as our Gondorian neighbors, I suppose. We also have a very strong neighbor. Is that Gondor? Is it Isengard? Who knows? It's left up to the imagination. It's left intentionally vague, so it's up to you to determine who is the strongest neighbor. And I'm sure some of you out there would like to run your very own game shows called Who is the Strongest Neighbor, where your shitty neighbors fight to the death with gardening implements, hoes, rakes, that kind of thing. Anyway, let's move on here. What we're going to do now is watch the intro video. If you're not into that, you can skip it, of course, as I have laid out the groundwork for that. But I hope you stick around and you watch the intro video with me because it's a good video. Anyway, as this is loading, I will see you guys in just a few moments.
Where is the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that was blowing? They have passed like rain on the mountains, like wind in the meadow.
Now is the hour! Riders of Rohan! Oaths you have taken! Now fulfill them all! To Lord and land! Ha!
Is that not a great video? You hit on all the key points of Rohan. You get the theme song in there, the strings, the horns. You get some wonderful shots of Edoras, some very cinematic shots of Edoras, not to mention the monologues of all of the great characters of Rohan. You've got Eomer, you've got Theoden in there, and not to mention the fucking sexy shots of all the cavalry. It's amazing. Anyway, we have a few annotations to work through. First of all, we have a bit of background and lore about the Kingdom of Rohan itself. Our lands are as of a grass sea. A sea of grass, rather. As I said, as always, read this at your own leisure, and we will do this with the other two as well, because this is not our only notification. The first, as I said, is a bit of background information as to the lore of Rohan. The next is the Glittering Caves, which is something unique to Divide and Conquer. Basically, from what I gather about this, is if we were nice to the dwarves, Later on in the campaign, we will reap some rewards of some kind. They will strengthen our military. They will strengthen our fortresses, I suppose. So that is something that we need to be aware of. Keep the dwarves happy. Military report. Basically, this is just saying that it takes a while to mobilize our professional army. So we'll just have to stick with militiamen in the initial turns. I believe it's 60 turns until we are ready to recruit a professional army. Alright, so this is Rohan itself. Where to begin? I suppose we can begin with our lists, rather. Let's just start with the faction overview. Our capital city is Edoras. Of course, the jewel of the plains, Edoras. Our faction leader is King Theoden, who is currently situated within Edoras, and interestingly enough, getting free upkeep. Why is that? Do all of our lords get free upkeep? No. Done here apparently does not. Erkenbrand does. Why is that? Why does Erkenbrand get free upkeep? Ganling does not get free upkeep either. Neither does Hama, our good friend Hama, who is apparently only 17 years old. That is quite the fucking beard for a 17-year-old. My god, how old is Gamling? 12? No, apparently he's 30. I guess you just... Times are tough in Rohan, so you just have to grow a beard basically as soon as you turn 13. One day you're 12 years old and 364 days, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're 13 years old, and it just starts coming. By the end of the week, you're already sporting a full beard. Okay, we've already got off track. So our capital is Edoras. Our faction leader is Theoden, who we will go over in more detail later. We have 8 generals in total and 7 regions, 5 of which are cities, 2 of which are castles. Here are victory conditions, which we have gone over before. Now, I guess we'll have to go over diplomacy as well. We are allied with the Kingdom of Gondor, as well as the Principality of Dolamroth? Yes, which I believe is situated somewhere on the coast of Gondor, the capital, of course, being Dolamroth. I'm not sure that Dolamroth, as a faction, has more than one city. I can't say, but essentially... it is a province, or rather it's a principality within the Kingdom of Gondor. So we are allied with both of them as a result. Gondor allied with us as well as Dolamroth. And already they are at war with Mordor, the Haradrim, Umbar, and the Varyogs of Khand. Rune apparently nowhere to be seen at this point. But I mean, it's a very standard diplomatic setup. Basically, the War of the Ring has already begun. Gondor being assaulted on all sides by evil factions. Dominion of Isengard. They are currently allied with the Dunlendings, and they are at war with the Ents of Fangorn, who are apparently already a faction. Very interesting. Currently, we are at war with the Dunlendings, who are up to the north. We have yet to declare war on the White Hand of Saruman, which apparently, I guess we're friendly with him still. Well, here's Chief Lurtz. Shit, he's already waiting to spring to slay Boromir upon the first sighting. We're gonna have to deal with that eventually, I suppose. This is a good time, I suppose, to go over our armies. We have King Theoden inside of Edoras. We have Prince Eomer just riding around out in West Emnet, apparently. Theoden, let's see, he's 32 years old, apparently? Really? Eomer being 16. Seriously, this is what I'm saying. Eomer is 16 years old. And again, look at this. He's already sporting a full fucking beard and mustache. I suppose this is supposed to take place several years before... the events of the films, and therefore they have to resort to a picture of Karl Urban as a grown man portraying a 16-year-old in this mod. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, let's go back to Theoden. Theoden has a lot of command and a huge amount of authority. He also has the Horn of Eorl. He also has Hirogrim, as well as the King of Rohan ancillary, which basically just makes him a better commander. Let's see, he's got a bit of a biography, which gives him a huge amount of traits. To command, 5 hit points, 5 loyalty, among other things. Rohan is part of the Northman culture group. Basically, Much to the contrary of the name, not all Northmen are from the north. Wow. Wonderful. Basically, we are descended from the original Northmen. And I can't quite recall who else is the Northman. I'm not sure. I don't think that has any bearing on our gameplay, really, aside from an increased bribing cost and an increase in obedience. King Theoden, little did you know, he's the king, the faction leader. Amazing. He does have a special ability for death and glory. Basically, this is a special ability on the field. It basically turns down the fatigue to 0. It cranks our morale all the fucking way up and reduces enemy troop morale temporarily. Basically, I guess the idea is we're supposed to charge to our death, and I guess we win or they lose, or rather we win or they win, one of the two. One of us ends up dead, essentially. He has a strong legacy, increasing his authority. He's a great cavalry commander, the best cavalry commander. People tell me I'm the best cavalry commander. Also a proven commander, a sense of justice, and a knight fighter. Wonderful. Our faction heir, Prince Eomer, is a rider of Rohan.
Yes, my lord.
He's got a sword called Guthwin, I suppose. I'm not sure how that is pronounced exactly. Here is his biography. Eomer is strong and tall and has become a valiant and skilled warrior, and rider of Rohan. 20 movement points. That's pretty crazy, actually. Did Theoden have movement points? No. Okay, so apparently
Yes, my lord.
Eomer is meant to ride around and strike with his riders, I suppose. Let's see. Oh my god, look at his movement with just his cavalry. That's amazing. Okay, we're gonna have to ditch these infantry units at our first chance. He is the heir apparent. He also has a special ability. It is for death and glory. He's a fair fighter, a promising attacker, a great cavalry commander, a promising commander, loyal beyond question, and virtuous in rule. So he's quite the chivalrous knight, it seems.
Yes.
Dun here, who apparently is residing in Dun Harrow, interestingly enough. I guess he comes from a village in which the naming convention is you name yourself, or rather you name your children, after the village. He is Dun here, his brother is Dun Hor. Well, that kind of came out wrong, but his brother's name is Dun over here, I guess. I'm not sure. Alright, let's move on. That was a bit of a flop, that joke. Okay. He's also a Northman. He does not have a biography because he is quite boring, I guess. He is a social drinker. He's a bit of a drunkard, Dun here. He's eager. He is an aspiring commander. He has a sense of justice. He is loyal and a promising tactician. Elfhelm.
Yes, my lord.
He's a Northman. He's severe. He's dauntless. He's dangerous with cavalry. He's Elfhelm. Say hello to Bachelor number 3. He's an aspiring commander, reasonable in rule. He is currently in Aldburg.
Your orders, my lord.
Speaking of settlements, some of these settlements are quite familiar to us from the Mordor campaign, rather. But it seems like Dunlastir as well as Onodrith are new. I guess they did away with Entwade, and I believe Westfold was the other one. I can't quite recall. It's going to be a bit confusing switching between the two campaigns at the same time, but I'm sure I'll deal with it. Oh man, first world YouTube problems. Oh boy. Let's get back to Elfhelm, shall we? This guy, I have to say, is probably the ugliest of our generals, although Gambling comes in at a close second, I have to say. Whereas Prince Eomer is nothing but dreamy. Okay, Elfhelm, currently chilling in Alberg, chilling like a severe villain. Okay,
Yes,
here's
my lord.
Eomund, who's apparently the first Marshal of the Mark. Okay, alright, very interesting. So he is our second in command, I suppose. Well, third in command, let's be honest. Our faction heir is pretty badass. And as I said, he has the dreamiest eyes, which I get lost in at night. Okay, so he has a special ability for death and glory. Fair fighter, respects the enemy for some odd reason. He is dangerous with cavalry, promising commander, generally loyal. Dangerous with cavalry is my middle name. He is also a promising tactician. I'm seeing a bit of a theme here. A lot of these traits are shared amongst all of our generals. So, Eomund, our first marshal of the Mark, is residing in Onodrith, in the middle of our faction, essentially. Or rather, on the on the frontiers of the north, essentially. We've got Erkenbrand in the Hornburg. He is the commander of the Eored. I have no idea what that means. It means that this man was born with a fist coming out of his temple. It's quite the affliction, and I would have you not stare. He too is a rider of Rohan, a Northman. He too has a special ability. This is the first special ability that is different from the rest. He has leadership, 3 charges. It increases our army fatigue, it increases our combat effectiveness, and it increases our own morale at firm. Very interesting, for 60 turns. Or rather, 60 seconds. 60 turns, my god. 60 seconds. Oh man, Erkenbrand is a respected father. Okay. He is the best of fathers. A respected father. Promising commander. Promising defender. Very interesting. Oddly fitting that he's in the Hornburg. Also fair and rule. What a beautiful bastard in the Hornburg. Okay. Now here's our good friend Gamling.
Your orders.
He has a biography because, of course, he is very important. Gamling is a stout warrior of the Rohirrim who hails from the Westfold. Okay. He proudly carries the banner of the Westfold everywhere he goes, even to the toilet. Really? When he's out on a date, he just carries that thing and he's like, that's right. This is the banner of the Westfold. And the women are like, ooh, amazing. And then he obviously fucking plows them hard later in the night. Okay, he too has huge movement point bonuses, so he is another cavalry commander. He has a special ability, leadership, so him and Erkenbrand share this. Unfortunately, or rather, fortunately for Gamling, he does not have a fully formed hand growing out of his head. Very, very lucky. Some of us can only be so lucky. Some would say that Erkenbrand is quite jealous of Gamling and his beautiful beard. Gamling is a promising attacker. He is good with cavalry. He is also a promising commander and a promising defender. Gamling, just promising all around. He is a promising dancer, a promising poet, and also a promising politician. And he is a force not to be trifled with, rather. He is virtuous in rule. All of our generals apparently virtuous in rule. Virtuous out the ass. Now here's Hama, the 17-year-old warrior. He too has a biography. Hama is the door ward of the Great Golden Hall of Meduseld. Then what the hell is he doing in Dunlastir? I suppose we should take a look at where Gamling is. So Gamling is on the Foldburg, or rather within Foldburg, ready to face down Chief Lurtz. He needs a few more men to do so, I would think. Okay, Gamling back to the door ward of the Golden Hall of Meduseld. Well, you need to get back to Edoras, my friend. What the fuck are you doing out in Dunlastir? It is so far away from Edoras. You can't ward the door from there. What are you doing? What are you thinking, Hama? He too has huge movement point bonuses. So I think...
Yes, my lord.
Basically, it looks like Eomer,
Your orders, my lord.
Gamling, and
Yes.
Hama are going to be our forces in the field. Let's see. He's a Northman. He has a special ability. It is leadership. He is a promising attacker. He is good with cavalry and also a promising commander. Now these guys really don't have that many troops. Looks like Theoden has some Rohan riders, some spears, and some militia. Eomer,
Yes, my lord.
of course, has some militia and these Helmingas, which are guardians of the Hornburg. They are ranged units, and then he has 3 units of cavalry himself. Let's get back to Dun here. He has some militia.
Yes, my lord.
Elfhelm has some
Your
militia.
orders, my lord.
Eomund in Onodrith has 2 units of riders and some militia.
Yes, my lord.
Erkenbrand actually has the largest army of everyone at over just 1,100 men. He's got 3 units of militia and 3 units of Helmingas, which is quite fitting considering they are the defenders of the Hornburg. Let's get back to Gamling. Gamling, 2 units of militia. And then Hama has Eorling militia as well as Eorling archers. So it looks to me like we have select few cavalry units. Most of them are with
Yes,
Eomer,
my lord.
oddly fitting. And then we have some sparse infantry throughout the kingdom. Let's get to our family tree. King Thangel, Lord of King Theoden, or rather father of King Theoden. Lord and father. Lord father, I suppose. He died peacefully just a year ago. That is horribly sad. Our mother Morwen, still alive. Sister Gleowin, she also died just recently. 4 years ago she died. Apparently we have a brother named Eomund, and he is the father of Eomir. I never knew this. Which makes sense. That makes sense why he is the first marshal. Although I have to say there's very little resemblance between father and son. That is a question for the ages, and we'll probably try not to bring it up in the presence of Prince Eomer, who, as always, is like just stunningly handsome, and I would like to run my fingers through his golden locks, but I'm sure he's questioned his lineage at some point. His mother Theodwyn, also alive. His sister Eowyn has not been born yet. She's 0 years old, which makes things awkward if you're Wormtongue. I mean, can you be a pedophile with a fetus? These are questions that do not need to be answered. Okay, Theodwyn and Dernwyn. So we have 2 sisters, rather. And Eomund is a brother-in-law. We lost our son, Theodred. Quite sad. A year ago, it seems. So then why is Eowyn 0 years old? This is just bizarre, and I'd rather not dwell on it. Although we can recruit Riders of Rohan as mercenaries? Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Can we look at the bodyguard? Rohan bodyguards, wow. I don't know what I expected. I really don't. So that is the family tree. Let's take a look at our settlements itself. Okay, so Edoras is our largest settlement. It has all sorts of fucking buildings. Bit of information about Edoras there. Special features, the Northman Garrison. Special units, Royal Guard, Riddermark Skirmishers, Riddermark Axemen, my god, Riddermark Axemen Guards of Meduseld. Can we recruit any of these units? No. We can get Riddermark Skirmishers. That's the only unit listed here. As for the city itself, it is apparently a huge city. Gondor? Why does it say Gondor? Odd. Very odd. Apparently we imported our walls from Gondor. The Great Wall Migration of 2957 was a wonderful year. Okay, here's Meduseld, the Golden Hall, the Royal Palace, essentially, of Edoras. Let's see. Public order bonus due to law, 5%. Okay, so you would think that its bonuses would be a little bit better, but no, apparently not. You would note that the walls... oh, my mistake. My mistake. I wasn't sure what I was thinking there, so let's just ignore that train of thought. And we'll move on to the meeting hall. Pretty standard meeting hall. We've got ballista towers, apparently. A town guard, stables, an inn, standing stones, land clearance, and roads. Wonderful. We could build some shit immediately. Do we need a great hall? I'm sorry, but we already have a great hall. We could use some tombs. Is that necessary? Not particularly. In reality, the things we need to build are economy buildings. Although 1,500 coins for an additional 70 in income, is that useful? Not particularly, I have to be honest. We could just like look at public order. Public order is off the goddamn charts. What's happened here? Garrison? Is that what it is? It is the garrison. We can crank taxes like to the moon and back. That's amazing. Why would we need taxes to be that high? I'm not sure. We'll just leave it at normal for now. Actually, we'll put it at high. And should we build... I suppose we ought to build the farms. We're not... Actually, I just noticed as well, there's chicken farming. Have we got the precursor to that? Let's see. Livestock farming. We have not. So we could... Oh, shit. If we build this, we can recruit these farmhands, which would be amazing. So let's do it. We'll build some chicken farms. That should increase our growth and also our building income by 5. Really? That's amazing. How much does that cost? 1,900 gold coins. My god. Is that really necessary? Do we need that? Okay, we'll build it just so that our population growth is actually positive. Although, having said that, it would just make more sense to build farms. But the chicken farms, they allow us to recruit farmhands. Oh, I'm so torn. We'll build the farms. Okay, so that is our capital sorted. That only took 5 minutes to deal with. Jesus. This is what I'm talking about. Be prepared for just 60 episodes of this. Okay, Alberg is our second largest city. There's nothing particularly unique about it, I don't think. It is in the region of Eastfold, which is bounded by the Mering Stream. Who'da thunk? Apparently in Alberg we can build some mines though, which would be wonderful. They are hugely expensive. How long would it take to pay this off at 150 gold coins per turn? It would take, what, like 30 turns to pay that off? There's no time like the present. We'll just hold off on that for now, because there may be some more viable buildings further down the list. I can only assume so. Let's see. Population. Alberg. Dunlistier is our third largest town, and it needs roads, I can tell you that right off the bat. That's going to increase our income, what? Oh, that's also by 70. That is a good investment. Not to mention the isolated nature of Dunlistier means that we basically want roads ASAP. Roads are wonderful. Roads will increase our movement. Let's see, what is in Dunlistier anyway? Fucking nothing. Nothing at all. It is in West Emnet, and there's nothing more to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, let's see. I wish we didn't have to do this every single time, but it is a necessity. Alright, how about Onodrith? Again, very little. Very little to speak of in Onodrith. Although we can build roads, we can build a port. Would that be worthwhile? Not necessarily. We'll do roads right off the bat. It's in the East Emnet. Wait a minute. Was Aldburg not in East Emnet as well? No, it was in the East Fold. I can see, you can see my confusion here. How many Easts are there going to be? Apparently limitless. Just endless amounts of Easts. Okay, Hornburg has a huge amount of buildings as well. Amazing. Okay, so we've got Helm's Deep. Oh my god, look at this. Huge amount of information there. Special units, Eorlingas, that makes sense. The Citadel offers a huge amount of public order bonus. Is this also Gondor? It is. Yet again, another import from Gondor. Here's some information about the Hornburg itself. Wonderful. Very wonderful. Okay. What can we do in Hornburg? We can recruit all sorts of shit. Spearmen, axemen, swordsmen, militia, and archers. Basically, a bunch of infantry can come out of Hornburg. We can also recruit some scouts, which is not necessarily, well, necessary at the moment. We've got some cheaper mines here. These are much cheaper, 1,000 gold coins cheaper. Is that because of our good friend Erkenbrand? It must be. Is it because he's a respected father? Is our son the leader of the mining unions? It must be. Please, son, allow me to construct and run these mines cheaper. Okay, we're going to build some mines there, obviously, because it is going to be a solid investment. Only taking, what, 20 turns to pay that off? Just over. I'm going to say 25 turns. Foldberg, let's see. Dickall and Foldberg, it seems. We can recruit very little. We also need roads here, I can tell you that. Now, Foldberg is in the West Fold, not the East Fold, as you may think. You would be wrong if you thought that. Okay, just one more settlement to do, and it is Dunharrow, which seems to me to be some sort of religious retreat. Oh, I see. I see where this is now. This is from the film. This is Dunharrow. I just saw standing stones, and I was like, is this like a Stonehenge sort of situation? Are you guys tracking the astronomical movements? Are you creating a calendar based on the old sun's movements there? Are you doing that? No. All right. In Harrowdale, not a lot's going on. We can apparently recruit Rittermark heavy cavalry. We also have reduced building capacities here. Very interesting. As for the town itself, we can do very little, honestly. We can't really build a whole lot, and that's just fine. Which just means we can crank, rather, the taxes up, and we don't have to worry, because we're not going to build anything here ever, essentially. We really should... I should have been keeping track of our tax situation. I was not really paying attention. We'll crank everything up high, I would think. In Aldburg, we'll forego the farms for now. We'll do a bit of recruiting. Let's see. Dunlestier can do high taxes, as can Edoras. Okay. So in Edoras, we can recruit a bunch of shit already. I think we need some horse archers. I really do. And how about scouts? How shitty are scouts compared to Riders of Rohan? It turns out pretty shitty. They're quite a bit cheaper, though. See morale below. Okay. Oh my god, look at... Oh, I see. Holy shit, this is quite a bit of information here. Let's see. Morale poor. Morale response also poor. Armor class light. Terrain bonus from grassland. Okay. Terrain malice. Desert 4 snow. And secondary attack 4. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Do they have spears of some kind? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I'm really going to have to look into that. What is the secondary attack? What is that? Is that for everyone? Have they doubled up? Perhaps just cavalry has it? I don't really know. Bodyguards have a huge amount of it. Whatever it is, I don't know. Okay, so we have some horse archers. I think we just need cavalry to begin with. We'll get some scouts in there. 1 unit in Edoras, and we need to drop off this infantry because it's just slowing slowing Aylmer down. I think we should drop both units off. Well, the Helmingas should go to the Hornburg. It's only fitting. It's only fitting that they return from whence they came. I'm going to banish them to the Shadow Realm. We're gonna grab these horsemen. We're gonna give them to Aylmer. Oh my fucking god, what is this? Oh shit. This is a wonderful place to end the episode, isn't it? We cannot withdraw because we have been ambushed. By who? Hlothere the Cunning, some light infantry, and some spears. Okay, so we have just shy of 175 horsemen versus 626 infantry. Oh, well, look at that. We have 167 soldiers. Why am I doing the math in my head when I have that information readily available? Okay, so apparently I've already stumbled into a wonderful, wonderful siege. And as I said, I think this is a great place to end it. Unfortunately, we haven't really done our turn yet. I was hoping to get a little bit of gameplay in there, but I just... I've run into an ambush. I don't know what to say. And I want the first battle to be me microing the fuck out of these cavalry troops. Hopefully to destroy Hlothere, who is... What is his retinue? What is his bodyguard? No one knows. All I know is that he's incredibly loyal. Loyal enough to obey an order that he does not see the sense behind without complaint. That's all I know about Hlothere. I also know that it's got a sweet beard. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. As I said, that was pretty detailed. And yet, I feel like I'm still missing something. The completionist in me is just whispering, like, you have failed. You failed to be thorough. Which is going to annoy me until I die, essentially. So, like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying this. It is essential that you put a like down below if you want to see more of this, because I am going to monitor it, and I'm going to judge whether I'm going to continue the series or not. So, like I said, if you enjoyed the series, be sure to leave a like, be sure to leave a comment. The more of that, the more likely the series is going to continue. So, as I said, more of that. If this does potentially become a series, I'm thinking Thursday. What are your thoughts on that? Thursday? Does that sound good? Let me know down below. And as usual, if you guys want to get in touch, please check me out on Twitter, because I am now most active on Twitter every single day, checking it, tweeting at other YouTubers, basically annoying the fuck out of them. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm doing more networking now than I ever have. It's crazy. All right. As always, my name is Incoherence. I hope you guys are enjoying this new series. More episodes coming shortly. As always, you guys are fucking awesome, and I will see you all later.